Alright, welcome to my first video tutorial. My actual first video tutorial was going to be about colors, but it turned out to be a little bit longer than I was originally planning for it to be. Like, I did a whole script and all that, and it ended up being really boring. So that's behind me now. Maybe I'll probably do a retake of that video in the future if this one goes well. So hopefully we'll have more videos to work with. Anyway, so for this first video tutorial, I'm gonna be showing you something that I originally learned when I was like a little baby artist, when I was probably like 14 or so. It was something that my dad showed me, and it is basically a trick to separate your line art from a background color if you accidentally are drawing on the wrong layer. And there's going to be two parts of this video, or I guess pulling black line art off of a background color and having it be on its own layer so that it's transparent and you can color it more easily. And then the second part is going to be a little bit more complicated when you draw multiple different colors on the same layer and you have to separate them out. So that'll be interesting though, because that's kind of a fun thing to showcase. So all right, let's just get into it. So the first trick here, basically this is a wrong layer line art saving trick thingy. Sure? How to fix when you draw on the wrong layer because you're being a little stupid, maybe. Or you just screwed up and accidentally hit the flatten button, which happens all the time. I will say a good thing to practice before doing these kinds of things to try and keep it from not happening is to here, I'll just switch over to the art. Oh no, shoot, get out of there. Okay, basically the best way to avoid this and to make it easy to recover line art or something that you're drawing on its own layer is to make your sketch like 1, a different color, and 2, very opaque. If you lower down that opacity till it's really nice and really faint, that's the best way to make it so that you can recover your line art or whatever thing you're drawing when you've accidentally squished it all down onto the same layer. So if I do like, you know, well, that doesn't look right. Here, if I do like black line art on top of, this looks terrible, but it doesn't matter. It gets the point across. Little cute creature. Draw a kid. That looks horrible. But if it's black line art on a very faint sketch, that's going to make it easier to... Okay, I'm getting ahead of myself. Hold on here. So, first tutorial, because I'm getting ahead of myself. Let's delete that. Let's trash that. So, let's scale this down so we can actually see what we're working with here. So, say you've got a white background, and this is transparent just so that you know that it's transparent. But usually, you know, the background's just white, so you don't know that it's white. So let's say you're working with this here, and you've got this white background in your image, and you're drawing some line art. Let's draw like a strawberry maybe. That's cute. Draw a little strawberry. Yeah, that's good. And like an orange slice. That's cute. Make this a nicer looking orange. Yeah, cute. And have like like a little half of a kiwi. Big kiwi. Alright, so we got a half of a kiwi going right here. Got a little circle and all the little dots. I don't know what a kiwi looks like off the top of my head, but I think it's similar to this. Probably. Yeah, it's probably good. Alright, so let's say you're drawing on a background and you're using black line art, but you accidentally flatten your image. So when you go to color it, you're like, oh no, it's all on the same image. It's on a white background. What do I do about this? And you know, you can set it to multiply, which means that anything below it, well, that's a bad color to use. Anything below it, you know, will basically behave like it's a transparent layer. But the problem with this is that you can't really color the line art, I don't think. Can you? I don't know, but it just makes things harder. So, oops, didn't want to delete that. So the way that you fix this and you extract the black line art off of this background is, well, if you're using Psi, you go up here to, I believe it's layer, and then it's convert luminosity to opacity. Click that, it deletes all of the white. Anything that's black is now, oopsie, wrong layer. Gosh dang it, where are you? There you are, okay. Anything that's black is now 100% a solid color, which is black, and anything that's white is now 0, which is transparent. And this is a pretty easy fix. And if you open up, I'll open up Photoshop really quick because you can do the same thing in Photoshop. Where are you? And this is what I learned when I was younger from my dad originally. When I was using Photoshop, I don't really use Photoshop anymore for art because I just don't think that it's the best art program. It's really good for photoshopping, but it's not the best for like actually creating art. Let's just create a canvas real quick. I'm drawing it in black. Oh my gosh, what brush am I using? Do you have no something? I don't know what brush I'm switched to. I don't know what that... General brushes? Where's the ones with smaller? They become small when you press them. Pen pressure. Where's the pen pressure brushes? What is this? What is happening? Okay, whatever. I'll deal with that later, I guess. So, whoa, Jesus, I forgot how weird. Oh my god. Sorry, I don't ever use Photoshop, so I'm not used to any of the, anything anymore. So, let's say you draw a little smiley face here, and you're like, yeah, nice, but I want to color it, but it's on a background. Oh, how do I fix that? So you select all, copy it, you go over to the channels, create a new channel, which is going to be alpha 1. Control V your channel there, and then Control I, or whatever the hotkey is, to invert the canvas. Then you hold Control and you'll get this little selection box over the little box here that's got the image that you want, and you click that. And this will select all of the white areas only. Come back to layers, new layer, Control Fill. So now as you can see, we got this line art and it looks, oh my gosh, it keeps sliding everywhere. Looks just as nice, if I can do anything correct. It looks just as nice as if you drew it with this. And there you go, and it's on its own separate layer. So this is basically just if you accidentally merge it onto a white layer, you can recover that line art and just make it on its own transparent layer again, which is a pretty neat trick. I'm gonna close that. What a mess. So we're back here, and we're here with the fruit. Let me just fill this background. I have to, there we go, that's better. So that we can like more easily see what's going on here. So that's easy enough, like an easy enough fix for transparency, for just black and white. And that's also a really good reason to just use a white background and black line art if you're going to be drawing a line art and you're worried about accidentally flattening the image. As long as you have that 100% black, it makes it very easy to just select that one area and turn it back into a transparent line art. But this next one is going to be a little bit more complicated. So, but it's good to know. So let's say your line art is, let's make it this like dark blue, maybe bluish gray. Oopsie, bluish gray. And let's say you were drawing your sketch in light lime green. I don't know why you want to do that. Light tan, I guess. So I'm gonna do a pretend sketch under here and just like obviously this is not the real sketch. I'm doing everything backwards, but you know. This is for academies. Academics for smarts. This is for smarts. You know, the good learning. All right, so let's say you have, and this is an easier one because it's got, you know, a dark line art and a light sketch. So but it's not black, so it's a little bit different. So let's say that you have this, and I'm gonna like create a new folder, put those in it, and I'm gonna duplicate the folder because we want to be able to compare afterwards. So I'm gonna flatten all of these. And if you don't see this, you don't see the background. So there you go. It's a white background and they're all flattened onto the same layer. So what you do if you want to, if you're like, oh no, I've accidentally flattened my layers and now my sketch and my line art are all in the same layer and my background color and everything, what do I do? This is what you do. So first we're going to try and remove that sketch in the background, which I believe is done with divide. So we're going to grab that color with our little color picker guy. We're going to fill a layer on top of the flattened image. We're going to go over here and set it to divide, and that's going to remove that from our image. So we're going to turn on divide, which is going to take out that color, and you'll also notice that these lines are now a lighter shade of blue because they're also getting that shade of yellow removed from them, because originally they were a little bit more yellow. They had a little bit more yellow going on here, but now that's also being removed. But our next issue is that this is not black. This is a blue color, which we need it to be black in order for it to be able to be properly separated out. Because if we separate it out right now, which I'll do, I'll fill that, or I'll flatten that, and I'll go and I'll do layer, convert luminosity, opacity. Here's the problem. We now have very transparent lines, and that is not going to look good. Like, if you want to do transparent lines as a style choice, by all means, go for it. But having transparent lines that you have to work with is just going to make this frustrating. So let's undo that and bring that back. So the next thing that we want to do is we want to tell that blue color to be black instead. And we're going to do this by filling the layer, and we're going to set it to difference. And I don't know why difference works the way it does. I don't know why it colors the things that are the same as it black and everything else like an opposite sort of color than what the original was. I don't know what the math is behind that, but it does change everything to be black on top of another color, which is what we want, because then we can use the first step again, which is divide, and take this background color, fill it on a layer, set that layer to divide, and now we have the original line art, or the selection of the original line art, in black and the background in white. And then all we have to do is flatten that, come up to the layer, convert luminosity to opacity, and then there you go. It's on its own layer. But I do want to see how it compares to the original, because when this happens, the other good reason to use really dark colors or just black for when you're doing your line art is that removing the information of the sketch also removes some of the very light gray edges of your line art. Like, it removes a little bit of the detail. And the reason why it does this is because really, really light gray can have the same darkness information as the sketch did. And so you're adding contrast, basically. And that doesn't ever tend to look very good. So here's our original, the sketch over here. Excuse me. And here's the separated out line art. And if I grab the line art over here, and I'm gonna duplicate it, and I'm gonna switch it to black so that we can compare these two. So they're pretty close. This is pretty dang close, and this is the better way to do it. There's two ways that I played around with about how to separate out the colors, and this way was the best way. It turned out always looking the most like the original line art. So it's pretty dang close. There are a few little areas where it's gonna be like just like a smidgen light, a smidgen less is going on. Like if you can see right here, these pixels right here are a little bit lighter than these pixels. So if I, whoa, I don't know what that just did. Hold on. Hold please. So if you come in here and you grab this color is a 236 across the board. But if you come over here to the same spot and grab this color, it's a 215 across the board. So it's a little bit darker. But that amount of difference for your line art isn't, once it's a done and finished image, people aren't really going to notice that, especially if you resize it afterwards. Like if you draw something really big and then you scale it down, it's gonna be completely unnoticeable. People will not notice that this thing happened with your image. One thing I do want to touch on is if you're doing a sketch, here, hide please. If you're doing a sketch, let's change these colors. So let's make this color like this blue, and let's make the sketch color also a gray blue, the same gray blue area. So this is a lot harder to work with than what it originally was. Where are you? Who is this? You hide. Okay. Let's make a new layer. Always make new layers. If you have a bajillion layers at the end of your project, that's fine. Just do a save as and flatten the stuff that you don't need. But always make new layers, because that's just, you never know when you need to change something. But not this time. We're gonna flatten it all onto the same layer because we're gonna destroy this. Okay, so background color. See, there we go. All right, it's all in the same layer. We're gonna do the same thing as last time. We're gonna grab this color, fill, set that to divide so that it removes it. If I can find divide. There we go. So you can already notice when I took that out, it does not look as good. And also it didn't actually work. Hold on. Okay, let's take that. Fill. Divide. There we go. Now it worked all the way. I don't see any more of the ghosting line art anymore. So as you can see, the edges here, they're losing some information. This is having a hard time. The lines are looking a lot sharper because they're losing a lot of their transparent areas. If you make another layer, fill it with that color, and we're gonna do difference this time. And you can really see how sharp they've gotten. Gonna do another layer, grab the background, fill, divide this time again. Now this time, they're sharp. They're real sharp. And if you fill them all together, layer, convert luminosity to opacity, you'll see that's like artifacted. Artifacted? Let's open up the original to compare. Okay, so yeah, that's the original there. Here's this one. And this one is a bit thrashed. Like it's not quite pixel art yet, but there are some really sharp edges because the original colors were so close together. And that's just what you're gonna get. If you're working with two colors that are really close together, you're gonna end up with these really sharp artifacted edges because there's just not enough information between the two colors to really get a good outcome. And that's why I always would say if you're ever doing line art, or if you're ever working on something that's like got a sketch layer and a line art layer, or even just like multiple colors that are going to be changed into different colors later, work in colors that contrast each other, or work in colors that are very different so that if something like this happens, you can more easily divide out the information so that you're not having to work with, you know, like this is still sort of workable. Like if you're scaling stuff down, let's see how workable these are. I make two new layers, put them over here, and I scale them down. Like scaled down, they look almost exactly the same. So if you're scaling stuff down, chances are, as long as you're using two different colors, you should be fine. It's better to use contrasting colors when you're working on stuff before you're like doing the official colors for it, but you'll still be okay as long as you're scaling it down. So always draw bigger than you need to draw, and use contrasting colors, especially when you're sketching and doing line art. And just remember this trick for fixing it if you mess up. Now, this does not recover the sketch. This does not, when you're doing this, the sketch is gonna be lost. That's just the way this works. You're not gonna be able to recover the sketch, and I haven't been able to figure out a way to make it so that you can recover the sketch, mainly because the information here is it's covered up. You can't see it. So you're gonna lose the sketch. The sketch it's lost. It's so sad, but it's gonna be lost. Which is also why I would suggest, if you're gonna be doing a sketch on if you're gonna have a sketch and you're gonna have a line art, have the sketch be really low opacity. That way, if you start drawing on the same layer that the sketch is on, you will know, because, you know, when you grab this color and you start drawing here, it's obviously the wrong layer. So, you know, use your layers, use opacity, draw your line art with black or a very dark color, and this will help save you some grief when you accidentally flatten things onto the same layer. That's it for this tutorial. I hope that this helped someone out there, and I'll see you next time. Bye.